This is a pressed Sheng Pu'er.
And this is the same tea, but is not pressed. Let's find out if the taste the same or different. Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. Today in the tea studio with Dimitri.
Hello.
Dimitri, we have this never-ending dilemma.
Yes.
Pressed pu'er or Mao Cha? Pressed pu'er or unpressed? Some people say that pressed is better for storage. Others say it's worse. Different opinion. No one knows what's the point, what's the difference, why. So what we made...
How can we find out? I mean...
Yeah, well, let's taste it, right?
Yeah.
So we have here exactly the same batch of the same tea, harvesting the same time, process up to a certain point at least.
Identically, same year. As far as can be ascertained, they are identical teas, and the pressing is the only difference.
Right, so this one was pressed, this one was not. Otherwise, the same tea. And we let him storing for a while, so it is about 5 years old. And so now it's the time to find out if this storage, we won't wait for another 15 years, 5 years, if this storage has affected the taste, basically, in different ways, depending whether the tea was loose, Mao Cha, or pressed. We have 100 milliliters Gaiwan here. Let's wait 5 grams.
5 grams.
5
yeah.
grams. All right, let's go for 5 grams. And let's look at the leaves first. Do you see a difference in color, actually?
I mean, I have the impression that some of these look a little bit browner, but not very much.
It's very difficult, yeah. I mean, at least... Well, these are wholer leaves, so these are a little bit broken because of the
pressing.
Yeah, of the pressing, and but that's I mean, that's the difference that you have, right? That's certainly a point when you have a pressed tea and you were breaking it up, you get more broken leaves, right? So that's an advantage of Mao Cha, as long as you take care of where you keep your bag with Mao Cha. So we say 5 grams, right?
5 grams.
5 grams. So we have here. I've never done this. We didn't taste these teas before, so it's you know, first time for us, and we'll find out. It's good to have actually both loose leaves, because otherwise the pressed tea will take longer to open up. Try to not take the too tiny.
We have a nice balance of, we have some buds in here, but also a lot of larger leaves.
Breaking around. Let's see. Oh, we're almost there actually. 5. I had 510, so I want to be precise. It's a comparison, so you want to avoid
differences as much as
possible. Yeah. Okay, that's almost down to the milligram actually.
All right. We have 100-degree water.
So you keep yours, I keep mine. Let's get started.
I'll give them both a wash, shall I?
Yes.
Just a few.
Let's use also a strainer, just to avoid that a chunk of leaf end up in the Gaiwan, and smells good. All right.
Okay.
Let's see a little bit to the teapot. Oops.
So what have we here?
Very intense, pungent, present.
Yeah. I mean, here also pretty, I would say that as well, but it
feels stronger, that one actually. to me.
Oh, really? Okay, I
To
would
you
say
the other way around?
I was gonna say softer, but
Softer. Then maybe it's because
Or
that's
maybe
the
we just-
sequence we have followed.
or maybe we just inhaled the
Yes,
pungent
yeah,
bits.
that's a common thing. You know, the first time you smell a tea, it smells strong, and the second time you're already
Yeah.
used to that. So it's good that we are two of us. So,
olfactory exhaustion.
yeah,
A bit of vegetal, a little bit of this silver young kind of youngish pu'er scent to
Yes,
this
yes.
kind of green wood almost.
yeah. Green wood is a nice way to describe it.
Should I
let's
go for it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay, so 10 seconds after me. Yeah, perfect.
Same. Yeah.
How long?
How long? Maybe a little bit longer. The first one to give it a chance to open, but not too
Not too
not
much.
too long. Maybe
All
a
right.
thinner one.
Let's go.
Okay.
You 10 seconds
Yeah,
after me.
10 seconds after.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay. Color-wise, pretty close.
Yeah,
Is there any difference? I don't
not
know.
sure. No, sorry, I
They
cannot
both
say.
have hairs, like little floating hairs in the
Yeah.
liquor.
But you can't really tell any difference. I mean, the tea over the 5 years changed quite a bit. It was stored in it was dry storage, so it didn't evolve too quickly, but certainly changed. And we just by the color, they look very similar, very similar. All right, let's do like that. Left is the loose leaf.
Okay. Let's see what.
Let's see. Let's compare. Actually, I'm curious the color of the
dry
wet.
leaves.
What do you say?
I want to say this is ever so slightly greener.
With
And
this
that,
one?
and that one more yellow, but like
I thought the one was darker.
okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
greener
darker it is.
and
Yes.
yellow.
Okay. Yes.
But this could even be down to the very specific exact leaves. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's difficult. Yeah, but that's a consideration. This one
Yeah.
a little bit. So the pressed tea a tiny bit darker, greener. Here we have a little bit more yellow and it's slightly brighter. But the color of the brew, it's just the same.
But it sort of says it gives me confidence that they, at the moment, they look pretty much like the same tea, that they were really otherwise handled quite the same, other than the compression. Yeah, loosed.
No bitterness. Not so aggressive actually. I was expecting more strength from what I smelled.
Yeah. This is pleasant.
Let's speak a little bit about what would make the difference here, right? Because we say one is pressed, one is not pressed. So first of all, both were Mao Cha at a certain point. It means the farmers have picked up the leaves, have processed the leaf to the chaching, has dried the leaves most likely at the sun, removing all the water content, and then they store it locally for a while. Then at a certain point, one of the two batches was brought to usually a tea factory, or the farmer pressed it himself with the stone. We don't know, but let's say most.
Or the hydraulic press, something, but this
Yeah.
is pretty loose, so.
Well, you never know. You can regulate the press, right?
Ah.
So, but as a matter of fact, was pressed. So it means that then what happens for pressing a tea and leaves that are already dry, you have to add some vapor, some
Right. Steam a
steam.
little bit.
You have to
soften
steam the
them.
leaves, so that you have to you will soft them again. So you steam the leaf, you soft them again, you press the leaves,
And
you
they
get
kind
your
of stick
cake.
together.
Yeah,
with
they
the
stick
softening
together.
Once they've, yeah.
And then they are usually put in a room, so not outside, usually indoor, on a tray to dry at the air. So that's the difference. So at the very beginning, you have already the difference. You have an additional, again, a water content, adding water, moisture to the leaves, wettening them, pressing them, and then they are dried at the air. So,
could this make much difference? I mean,
well, you certainly, when the leaves are again mixed with water,
sure,
they would react a little bit, and then also the drying at the air is not like the drying at the sun, so it's questionable whether the moisture content of the two leaves are the same at the end, because they're going through a different drying process.
Yeah.
And the drying what removes the water. So now you have to go below a certain moisture content to avoid the leaves to become moldy. But it can be, don't know exactly, but it could be, let's say, 3% or could be 6%, and both are fine. But if it is 6, you have more water content and would evolve in a different way, the tea.
Yeah, it also, it encourages different flora there, the bacteria generally, or little certain molds that are used to ferment.
Where there is water, there is life, right? So that's for sure. And also, you have to say also about how the air would interact with the leaves, right?
Right. That's maybe the biggest factor, is that particularly if they're tightly compressed, there's less penetration of air from the outside, less diffusion of anything on the inside outwards, or it's a slower process. And also, speaking of the flora, some bacteria particularly are anaerobic and prefer anoxic environments, or ones with, hypoxic, low oxygen environments, and some really prefer aerobic environments with more oxygen. So could slightly change the balance of bacterial flora.
And as a matter of fact, it's hard to tell in which way. As said, there are many different opinions around, so the best way is to taste it out. So I've done already the first taste, and do a second before I'm speaking, and go the other direction.
It's cooled down a bit. Sometimes we can get a bit different picture.
It's interesting. It's getting a tiny bit more bitter than before. Before I had no bitterness. Now just leaving it there, a tiny bit.
It's a bit. It's not. I don't really strong. But.
So, I don't know you. For the time being, it's just the first tip.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able to tell them apart blind.
Me neither. If there's any difference here, I would attribute it first to, like, if I were given blind, differences in steeping or some slight differences of the leaves on the day, etc.
Yeah, it's.
I guess they were two different teas.
And by looking at those leaves, if you would look at the leaves, you would notice they are extremely similar. Now even in color, they are very similar, actually. I cannot, not sure you guys can see those in the camera, but they look much more similar than they were looking before in color.
There's a nice spiciness. There's a little hint of even, do you know mastic? The gum mastic. There's a very particular scent. It's a derivative of.
What's that?
It's it's a resin that comes from the mastic tree. It's the same root as to masticate, to chew.
Oh.
So it's a resin that was often used like a chewing gum before
rubber
before latex was a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of related to a pine, I think. And
well,
so it's a
resin.
Bit
it has, because as you said, the beginning is vegetal. There is not a lot of florality or fruitiness. It has this woody taste, vegetation, raisin.
A little bit spicy almost. But it's true, nothing really like fruity, really.
Was just counting.
Yeah. Again, 10 seconds or.
Oops. Yeah. All right. There you go. If you have more water, you can do more water. Ah, yes.
We do have.
Okay, good.
Well provisioned.
Yeah. The son is not sure whether he or she should come out or not. He's playing with us today.
It's very frequent, this kind of mercurial weather here. I'd really say in Berlin at all times of years, like particularly day to day. Like one day it can be quite windy, stormy, and the next day like unseasonably warm.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mind game.
All right. 2001, 2002 without filter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And yeah, I forgot the strainer. That's how it is. Did I lose a lot of leaves? No, actually it's quite clean. What's about
Pretty,
here?
pretty good. Not
Yeah,
many
yeah, they
broken
are similar.
pieces.
Okay, good. Good. Let's see. Color-wise,
Also pretty identical.
it's the same. The same.
I mean, it could be that over some further storage in years, we could hold on to this, for example, and in
Yeah.
5 years or 10 years, try again and see
Not
what
sure.
what the difference is, which would be interesting. I like the tea on the whole.
I'm not concentrating so much on the taste, rather on
Yeah,
the difference,
trying
but
the
this is pleasant,
differences.
yeah. Good vegetal tea with not too, also bitterness is just a tiny bit there, but it's very personal, right? I mean, well, many times, especially for those that are not really used to drink tea without sugar, yeah, it takes a while to get used to the taste, and after a while, you will realize that other people pretend something being bitter that you don't think it is.
Where I think that can be influenced. I mean, I've read a lot of like how to avoid bitterness in dancong or danchong oolongs, and I rarely notice or think of that as particularly bitter. To me, it's like super. If it's over steeped, it's so floral that it's a bit too intense, and maybe. But there is bitterness there,
saturating,
but it's not what comes to mind. So maybe there's also this element of being influenced by the other taste and what you perceive
Oh
as the
yeah,
most
yeah,
important.
for sure, yeah. But I mean, also here, I don't really taste the difference. So, the last try I would like to do is doing a power stick,
Yeah.
just to see what comes out of that. Let's do that.
Go for it.
All right, and let's see. Now we have really hot water. It was just boiling.
Let it go for a few minutes until it feels
All right.
well extracted.
And let's see. Also color-wise, they're really evolving very similarly.
But it's cool to be able to do an experiment like this. It's not easy to find
Oh yeah.
parallel, like just the leaves or teas that much.
Also in terms, even focusing just on the mouthfeel, on the texture. What is more aggressive is the taste, actually not so much the texture. The texture is quite smooth.
Bit almost juicy at the beginning, and then now developing a nice astringency.
And what I can tell, and you know we've done videos about that, brewing the same tea in a Gaiwan and in an Ishin,
Yeah.
I was able to tell more a difference in taste in that case than here. So it's really, even especially if you're doing brewing in a especially for, I mean, I brew a lot of pu'er in Ishin teapot, then just your teapot might influence the taste of the tea way more than 5 years of storage in pressed or unpressed. That's the case here. Yeah, because in those cases I could really tell, yes, I'm able to tell them apart. If you give me the 2 cups and drink one, drink the other, yes, I will tell you which one is the Ishin, which not. The Ishin smoothing down the taste, making it rounder, but removing also a little bit of the sharpness. And,
Rounding it.
Yeah, and here, in terms of texture, very similar.
So far, at least for dry storage, in this amount of time, brewing parameters make a much bigger difference.
And on the other side, a question like, if I'm not able even to tell a tiny difference so far in 5 years, it's not that 7 or 8 year will. I don't expect that all of a sudden things will change so much. Like, you know, it's a gradual process. It's after 5 years I'm not able to perceive anything.
You think maybe it's a bit of a myth. Maybe it really doesn't matter at all, or
That seems to me.
over that time it equals out.
It also depends how the tea was steamed, how it was pressed. So for this particular tea, it's not a big difference, right? But maybe we were lucky. Maybe the water content at the end was the same. Was the second one was dried? Maybe it was steamed and then was dried very quickly. It was maybe a hot day and dried very quickly, so it didn't remain moisturized for too long. And maybe also the fact that you mentioned the cake is relatively loosely pressed.
Yeah.
So also it just fall apart just by.
Yeah, maybe for a really strong, those ones that are, which is not very pleasant to deal with it when you're trying to break it apart. Those ones that are really compressed, like, I don't know, like a closed book, like feels glued together.
Maybe there it makes a difference.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we can just speak about this specific situation, this specific tea.
I mean, we can also speculate. I wonder, would wet storage have made more of a difference if there's a greater degree of moisture that comes in from the outside, and then also how long, at some point oxygen also must penetrate the inside or moisture.
Who knows, right?
Who knows is precisely
the only
right.
thing we can tell is really what we are tasting. So this specific tea.
And I think we can say probably both of us wanted to find at least a little bit of a difference. If there was a bias here, I think we're biased a little towards finding the difference.
Right, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, otherwise, like, maybe we'd want to try it.
Right, you don't do a video to say, yes, it's the same guys, no difference. So, but yeah, I mean, if that's the case, that's the case, right? Yeah. That's what happens when you do experiment. What about the color now? Nice intense yellow.
Pretty.
It's just the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from that side, guys. From this side, way darker, of course.
Yeah.
I like that actually. Very nice amber color it has.
A nice, like, well-brewed pu'er is a very beautiful color. There's kind of a goldeny amber, but then there's also like a hint of green somewhere in there. I'll try.
Of course, the bitterness is there.
That's not crazy. It's not so acrid. It's not gonna sort of melt through your palate, kind of. That has sometimes, well, not happened, but.
So I have to say,
with some.
Might be wrong. I have to taste a bit more, but for now, the pressed one is a bit more bitter to me. I tested forth and back twice just to make sure that the first impression was right. Try again.
Having already heard you say that, now I must concur.
But I'm not 100% sure, so now I'm going to do a blind taste. Blind taste 50-50 is half of a blind taste, but
that's good. So
Dimitri, pick up one. Wait, I do like this so that you can easily pick up one.
Yeah.
Tell me when you have it in your hand.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's hot. That's a second. It's hot. Okay, the other one.
Gonna take that one, and here comes this.
Wait, I'm 300% left-handed.
300%. That's a very precise. I mean, a fairly precise left-handed measurement of left-handedness.
So now I may say the contrary than I was saying before.
Go for
but
it.
The first one was more bitter.
And that was the one on the right. That was the
pressed one.
Pressed one, yeah.
Okay. And I really felt it. Yeah, I really felt it. And we do the same now.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
So that's the pressed. That's the non-pressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Close your hands. No, close your eyes. Ta, 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 ta.
Okay. Mm. That's fairly bitter. Okay. Okay.
Wait, give it to me.
I have an impression.
You have an impression. Well, a comparison. Here's the
Yeah.
second.
It needs to be a relative impression. Also, but I'm also tasting that's pretty intense, but I'm inclined to say, oh, now I'm not sure. It
Doesn't matter.
lasting
doesn't
longer.
matter.
It seems softer at first, looking out for it, but the bitterness does last. Can I have the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow. This one is more intense.
Okay.
And
it's the press one.
okay. Well,
At least, guys, I hope you have followed the switching. I think that was the press one.
okay,
Yeah.
we've just played a tea shell
Yeah.
game.
So the
you
very
know.
first I gave you was this one here, I think.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because yes.
That was the
yes,
not
yeah,
pressed
yeah. The second one was the press one.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So a little bit.
there is a little bit.
If
So
you power
at the end, there
steep
is
it.
one. How many? It is. I think it's one chance out of 4 that we would both say that one is more bitter just by chance.
Yes. So,
Yeah, so
there's a 75. There's a 75% chance. No,
yeah, I think so.
I haven't taken my class in probability yet.
So we have. I said this. I said this. I said this. I said this. Yeah, there is just 25%.
it seems, yeah, that seems a fair
Yeah, it's
amount to make a small, very, very small conclusion.
a little
based on-
statistic, let's say. Yeah, and you know, when you do a power steep, you steep them for very long. So we had really the same amount of water pretty much, and with such a long steeping time, even those few seconds of difference that you might have between the two steep have no influence. So
Right.
here. Yeah. Well, now I notice even more. It's even drying actually more the palate somehow. So it's even more astringent and fiery. So it's guys, that's the only difference we can find today between 2 5-year-old pu'er, one compressed, one loose, otherwise the same. There are very, very little difference. I don't think it makes much of a difference indeed. So just go for it. And it's that anyway, most of the time you cannot choose between compressed and loose. It's just
true.
one or
It's
the
what
other.
it's what's available.
Just what you get.
So
yeah.
make of that what you will.
All right. Thanks a lot. You know, thumbs up, subscribe the channel, and see you in the next time.
Bye.